Hey, good morning, church. I pray that all is well with you today. We're going to be looking at 1 Samuel chapter 17 this morning. Before we get started, just like to say, hey, it was great seeing the Branscombe family yesterday. Ron, thanks for sharing your family with us yesterday on that video. Now, as we look at 1 Samuel chapter 17, we get a story that most of us are very familiar with. It's David and Goliath. We've certainly all heard the story, know about it, but it's good to go in and study it. Man, you think about Goliath when you read about the size of Goliath at the very start of this chapter. He was over 9 feet tall. Ranges could be from like 9 feet 9 inches all the way up to 11 feet tall. Talks about the coat that he had on, that he wore, his outer garment. If you do the calculations or some study on how much that weighed, it would have weighed 156 pounds. Just the coat that he had on. So Goliath was a giant. So when we say, David fought Goliath, he fought the giant, sometimes I think we lose sight of just exactly how big that was. Now, I want you to do me a favor today as we study. I want you to look at how David was so sure of the power of God. In fact, I want you to look in verse number 26, start in verse number 26 as you read that. He says, "Who is this uncircumcised man that should defy the armies of the living God?" He was in shock that anyone was going to come and fight against the living God. Again, down in verse, if you jump down into verse number 37, I love what David says here in verse number 37. Moreover, David said, "The Lord will deliver him." And the same way that the Lord had delivered him from the lion and from the bear, he says he will deliver me. In fact, I've actually boxed in that word will. David knew for sure that God was going to win the battle. He said he will deliver me. It wasn't maybe he will or I hope he does. It was a confidence that David had that God would deliver him. And you see that throughout this time of David and Goliath in this story. In fact, if you jump down, whenever you get down to verse number 46, David goes out to fight Goliath, this giant of a man. And remember, David is just a youth. He's just a young boy at this time. A youth, and it literally says that David ran to fight Goliath. He didn't come tiptoeing. Remember, Saul is hidden out. Saul is scared. In fact, it actually says that Saul was greatly afraid. And David ran to the battle. Folks, that's the God we serve. The God that would win that battle for David is the same God that will win your battles. I pray that today, as you study this story, think about how sure David was in who God is. He had full confidence, and that's the confidence we should have in God as well, because God has not changed. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy 1 Samuel chapter 17. Look forward to seeing everyone on Sunday, and may God bless.